Hello, folks on YouTube. Just loading up. Now gonna hopefully get some real progress done. Ahoy. Welcome back. So I realized there was something I had. It's good that I looked at the US save a little in Singapore because I realized I'd forgotten something. With the Navy is complicated in this game, as it probably should be. But carriers start with a full complement of air wings based on what you preset them to. And so it can be better to produce them later because you'll have access to more expensive um, carrier aircraft designs later, better, more expensive ones. And it doesn't add to the cost of the carrier. It's just including the cost of flight deck, which it's still like not a cheap way to get fighters, but it means yeah, I was trying to rush a carrier, and actually I should make carriers the um delay them at least behind my other capital ships, maybe as much as possible even, because I don't know if it could stick me in violation of the London Naval Treaty. Um
Hmm.
so hold on, I'm just reordering it in the queue. Um uh, Stability is not going to get better here. Yeah, these are all Norfolk Naval Yard. I shouldn't need one. Actually, I'm going to need chromium either way, aren't I? I was thinking, I can go without chromium. No, I can't. Sorry, I have like, let's see, I have this Wichita class thing to New Orleans. So I'm pretty sure I can only finish the capital ships I currently have in production. If I build any more, I'll be in violation of the London Naval Treaty. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I may as well hurry them because I want to see. I guess not hurry them, but get them done. Also, well, it's a lot of progress on them, but uh, yeah, I may put the carriers fairly far down because they'll just keep developing improved. Um, there we go. Sorry, I'll probably keep developing improved fighter designs. So I'm gonna just finish cruisers. Less chance of violating the London Naval Treaty if I just finish what I've got. And um, wait as long as possible, I guess. Working. Nah, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, that's all worked out. I requested sorry, military access. Looks like you already gave it to me. So I'm gonna send some
Hmm.
planes. What?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna send some naval aircraft to to Baja Cal. Oh, I can't do that unless I'm a faction. What am I saying? Shoot. I'll probably pause it just before midnight then, because that's when some aircraft arrive at 2400 in 12 hours. Um, I decided to stick my divisions on. I divide them into a Western and Eastern Defense Command, and just because I released puppets, I pulled back stuff from like all the independent isles. I think the only island that I'm keeping people on is Adu Island. Um, Everything else is, yeah. And Adu Island is like up near Alaska, so yeah. So I'm like pulling back from Wake Island, Midway, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I don't know. Adu Island is like near the Bering Sea. And right now it's Arctic waters, so if the guys try and leave the island right now, I think they suffer attrition. So I don't want to
Mm.
lose men and the transports just because I couldn't wait, if nothing else. Um, Wait till the summer and then maybe I'll pull them back as well, or at least till the spring, I should say. But yeah, I decided to deploy all my divisions up to the Canadian border because the biggest threat is probably the UK and her puppets, the British Empire. Um, because no idea what focus path they're going. They could go fascist or something. They could
Yeah.
attack, Even their
Mm-hmm.
alternate democratic path is fairly aggressive. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I told you to ask me about,
Yeah. Florida?
yeah, I was saying you can have Florida. I don't want it. it's
No.
it's full of rednecks and old people, and it doesn't have any natural resources. But
It do I have any sort of cores on it?
no, but so if I delay my Civil War a bunch, and at that point we're in a faction together, and you join me in it, they reworked Civil War some time ago. So if a nation's in a Civil War that with you, I mean, if your nation joins you in a Civil War, they can create a puppet based off of your tag,
Right.
like there is the rebel. So you could create an American puppet state, like in Florida,
Yeah.
and I mean, it'd be if you're communist at that point, it'd be a communist one. It would eventually get like indoctrination and stuff. Florida is of all my states on the east or Gulf Coast the least populous state. It has the smallest amount of manpower, so it's the least loss in terms of manpower. It doesn't have a gazillion build slots. It's only got six with three civ
Yeah.
factories, so it's not super well developed. Since I'm going to be developing the Carolinas, and Virginia has more build slots, it's probably my least valuable coastal state.
Hmm.
And it's close enough to you that you could defend it. So if you're in wars, you could eventually have divisions there and bring it into your wars and still, um, because well, communist puppet will go to war economy and service by requirement in peacetime. They can go all the way there, but if they need to go to all out serve eventually, um, or scraping the barrel, then you need to bring them into a war. Also, then they can
Yeah.
run war bonds and yeah. So there can be situations where that's useful to get their full commitment to a war. And any armies they've actually raised that you don't have control of air force or whatnot, they'll use, then you can actually take control of any of their divisions, but not their air force or navy. So someday could be useful. The main thing is the extra manpower, and even if you don't keep them in. The other thing is it's hard to defend because it's a long exposed coastline. Like every province in Florida except one is coastal, so it's requires a lot
Yeah.
of divisions to defend. It's also got one, two, three, four ports. So having as a puppet and just not calling into war makes it a lot easier to defend the eastern seaboard. Um, in future war, which the big bad of this game is probably going to be the British Empire. Um, Also, it's probably going to be necessary to take sides in whatever communist war breaks out between Germany and the Soviets, because otherwise the war will be more evenly matched. It'll go longer and there'll be a lot more destruction, and that will leave the winner much more vulnerable to the British. So, if we don't
Yep.
want the British to dominate the world, then well, they could go communist, but if they go any other path, it's gonna be very dangerous. And Italy, fascist Italy, could be a major threat too, or the Byzantine Empire could reform. There's like other things that can happen that can be dangerous in Europe, but the most dangerous by far would be the British Empire. All right. Anyways, I did looking at my aircraft designs, figured out I'm gonna need to rework my carrier designs, my carrier aircraft designs, and start off producing the P-35, but apparently I have the P-36, which is just a better design at the start. It's got more guns. It's basically the same thing, but better armed. It's got 6 light machine guns instead of 2 light and 2 heavy. Um, it's a little more expensive, but it's worth it. So, yeah, saw some interesting things. Oh, I was wrong about the division thing. It'll just randomly assign the equipment. So if you want to like either pull divisions off training so that, but some of them do get partial equipment, some get full. So you might just leave it how it is. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. It didn't work for getting the stuff evenly distributed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by the way, you have filters for church authority on the top of your screen of your focus tree. I just noticed this. Anything that affects church authority can be highlighted. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Oh yeah. If you go Bolivarian Alliance, you can invite Brazil to your faction. That could be useful. They're big. Um. You have a focus for that. In addition, the fact Venezuela will probably join you, Brazil, and they can be used to hopefully mop up South America very quick. Sorry, I'm kind of like a little loopy. It's been a long day, but I think I'm good. I still don't quite know what I'm gonna do with all the 2 big political power dumps I get. One from Continue New Deal and one from WPA.
Yep.
Uh, Probably gonna. I'm probably better not withdrawing from the London Naval Treaty until I flipped ideology. Although that might make the UK more like a attack, but it'll be cheaper then. And just spamming screens, it's a little riskier if my torpedo cruiser design sucks. But like the depends how that secret special project works out partly. But yeah, so I need to hire a chief of the army. And I need Earl Bowder with the second. So I guess the first one is hiring Eisenhower, and they have 50 political power left over for whatever. I could put it into ensuring congressional support, or I guess we see how the weird events go, random events, and you'll get some too with like church authority. So, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm putting all my fleets on the East Coast because that's where Britain would be most likely to attack me. I probably should have some on the Gulf Coast too, actually. Eventually, now that I think of it, but um, yeah. But all my ships there, and then I'll just like actually defend the ports on the west coast. That tends to be mountainous terrain, so I'll just like fortify that. The only way that'd be in danger is if the British decide to like navally invade from Australia. And then I got battle plans drawn on Canada, which I'll assign more divisions to as they're done, to attack the Canadians if the UK declares war on me, to like try and knock Canada out real quick, while I try and prevent any reinforcements arriving by sea from
Yeah.
the British. All right. Let's see. Are you good to unpause or
Yeah.
cool? All right. I'm gonna have to pause again at midnight. At the game's midnight. To set aircraft that just arrive. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of. Carrier air wings are weird, and the fact that you can't just like set a particular number of planes into one of them, and you need so few of them that it's not really great to do a factory production line of them. Um, like it's kind of obnoxious actually. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I do a little calculating because I'm gonna end up having 5 carriers. And figuring out what's gonna be going on with those numbers. They're probably gonna get 120 carrier nav from the new carriers, and I already had let's see. My brain's not doing that. 28 plus 14, 42, 50, 58, 64 plus. So I'll have 184 carrier nav among 5 carriers. So that's like 36 carrier nav per, and then I'll have just 24 fighters. That's an easy number. And shoot, where are my casts? Oh, they're blending with the nav. No, I was counting casts and everything. They look the same, which is frustrating. Yeah. So give me a sec while I mess with this. That's naval bomber. That's Cass. Right, Cass. There's 5 wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this way is 5 aircraft. There. It's getting closer. Sorry, I'm trying to balance the wings. I wish there was a like auto balance air wings button. I would have sworn
Yeah.
there used to be in a previous version, before they made carrier wings arbitrarily 10 and arbitrarily 100 for. Oh shoot! They set the wing size to 100 when they exited the carriers. And good thing I don't have anything to reinforce them with, or that would immediately cause problems. Yeah, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know that's nav bomber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 wings, all size 8 or 9. Okay, that's the right for the casts. 3 fighter wings. Yeah, no, they should have more. There's some weird stuff with the number of wings. And if you have too many carriers, which 5 is a little bit too much, you lose access to 20% of your wings, but fighters aren't affected, but they add the total number of wings. So I'm not clear if if as long as a certain proportion are fighters, I'm fine, or if it's that they all need to be towards the bottom of the list because fighter wings will count towards the ones that are allowed, even though they aren't affected no matter what themselves. It's confusing, and I'm pretty sure the people who dive into the code like to intentionally keep it opaque because they like to have like secret knowledge, over everyone else. So, um, yeah, there's that.
Mm.
Okay, got those going, and excuse me. Cool. Balanced out all my carrier wings as best I could. Wait, no, I don't want endless exercises. I want just exercise to full. Um, have anything in stockpiles? Do I? No. You know what? I'll forget about this later. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I got my army groups assigned. Did you divide up like your armies, like give them a general, whatever, for logistics?
Yeah, I just gave them one of my skill tree logistics generals.
And
He's
a field.
huh?
I was gonna say
Oh,
in a
and a
field
field.
marshal, but you only have like one field marshal, right?
Yeah.
But they're in. I guess they're under him as well, right?
Should I? Yeah, I can do that very quickly.
Yeah. Because yeah, the field marshals give additional like if a field marshal has two logistic skill, it's like adding one logistic skill to the general.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I only mention this because I know that another guy he stuck all his divisions in Yucatan, and they were actually taking supply attrition because supply down there is so bad. And I don't think you start off
Oh
with
yeah.
any trains, so any supply down the Yucatan, there is a supply hub in Chiapas, but without trains, you can't actually supply it. You should keep your divisions near naval bases or areas with high local supply. Otherwise, their supply will, crash.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you can just like run exercises on your visions to grind army XP, or not. They gain experience each day when it ticks over from midnight to the next day, as do air wings, which is why I had to. Those guys just arrived in the air base just now, and it was also a perfect time to start them in exercises. Uh, Ships, on the other hand, gain experience throughout the day, so there's no like midnight tick over there, but there is with Army and Air Force.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're gonna set your divisions on exercises, you should do it before it ticks over.
Yeah, they're
And
exercising.
cool. All right. Anyways, I got my stuff set, and I'll pause. I don't think we're missing anything.
So you don't think I should send them to the Yucatan or Chiapas, or just make sure that they still have supply?
Well, the Yucatan is Chiapas and Yucatan. Yucatan proper has the two naval bases, so it's fine. But I think he sent them all to Chiapas
Yeah.
because he saw that there's a supply hub there and he realized he has no trains. Like, you have no trains. So you could send down to, like, Chiapas on the two naval bases or Cancun or to, like, Veracruz, but I wouldn't send people to, like, Cancun or Campeche. They are the two naval bases, or like Veracruz, but I wouldn't send them down near Tuxtla Gutierrez because there's actually you don't have trains there yet.
Right. So
If,
just can't have too many people there.
yeah, I mean,
Can I buy a couple trains?
you could, but it would cripple your industrial snowball when you have so few factories. You'd be spending like half your industry buying trains right now, and you're gonna want to give as many civ as you can, as quick as you can. Hence all this infrastructure civ stuff. So that you can buy a ton of rifles and send them to Spanish Civil War as soon as you have the necessary focus for that. Because, Army XP, and that's important. All right, I'll unpause. Sorry to have had it pause so long. I'm like, my brain's not working fast. Yes, I know I'm not producing any carrier aircraft at all. Don't remind me. The game gave me a warning.
Sold my planes.
Yeah, that's probably smart. Oh yeah, if you want to put it for sale, support equipment sells very well too. If you have any in stockpile.
I have none.
Yeah. Right after you downsize the divisions, there might have been a little in the stockpile, but then it gets given back out unless you disabled it. Did you disable the support equipment on the divisions that are running exercises so that it would all go to training divisions, or?
I disabled all the equipment.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess though when you
Well, they don't
downsize
even
it.
use support equipment. They just use basic infantry equipment.
Yeah. I guess
It
when
looks
you downsize it, it wouldn't reduce support equipment usage though, because both templates use the same amount. And yeah, wait, they don't use it. They don't have engineers yet, do they?
they have nothing.
Yeah. Just
Just support artillery. Actually,
yeah. Support towers, but like, yeah, they have that, which is something.
the
Uh,
bigger divisions did it anyway.
yeah. Um.
Although, nope. Yep. Just infantry equipment.
Huh. Well, my Puerto Rican puppet is building naval dockyards immediately.
Hmm.
Too bad he doesn't actually have any ship design, so just spam a zillion convoys.
Yeah.
The Mariana Federation is actually going for factories. And Hawaii is building air bases, taking the focus for air bases for whatever reason. I don't think. Well, they may have No, they wouldn't have a military factory, so they don't have any factories in Hawaii. So I don't know why. The AI is kind of dumb. They don't prioritize factories enough when they have none,
Yeah.
or manpower when they have none. They don't assess their strengths and weaknesses correctly. Uh. Oh, I could do this. I should do this now, actually. In case I decide. Should I withdraw from the London Naval Treaty next thing? Probably not, but in case I change my mind. Uh, Promoting Patton to a field marshal. There we go. Sorry.
They always take 5% attrition for exercising, right?
Yep.
Okay.
This is ridiculous. I get more Navy experience from exercises than any chief of the Navy would give me. Almost 0.9 a day. It's a
Wow.
little bit. It's close to that. so I'll be swimming in Navy XP. The first thing I need to do is, of course, grab Naval Reform to make that even more. And because I'm swimming in so much Navy experience, I was probably going to actually switch to trade interdiction for a while for that convoy warfare Spirit Academy. I really
Yeah.
like that one because it lets me get admirals who right off the bat have blockade runner or Seawolf, and Seawolf of course lets him take Lancer and then loading drill master even fairly quickly after that. Um, Once they reach level 2, and some of them will start right at level 2. Loading drill master, that makes torpedoes fire. You essentially get to fire 4 torpedoes for every 3, because it knocks the torpedo cooldown from 4 hours to 3 hours.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, with a loading drill master, torpedoes are arguably like a better weapon system than almost anything else, especially because if you got it by Lancer, then sometimes they'll just hit capital ships even at full screening efficiency. You don't have to worry about armor with torpedoes. Yeah, and you get 18 torpedo attack with the level 1 torpedo for uh, less cost than the light battery 2, which gives 1.5 light attack. Which I think I figured they're about equivalent in terms of like effectiveness, even against screen ships. Like 1 light attack and 12 torpedo attack are about equivalent against screen ships, but against capital ships, the torpedoes are way better. And anything that's got armor, you don't have to worry about the armor with torpedoes, and they do more crits. So,
Hmm.
yeah, the downside, of course, is that light attack can be used in shore bombardment, and torpedoes can't. It's not nearly as effective as heavy attack, but it can be used.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really burning through oil with all these Navy exercises, though. Uh, 'm taking torpedoes that are um, 50% more expensive for 1/3 extra torpedo attack versus, I think that's right, 24 torpedo attack instead of 18. No, that would be, sorry, a third more effective. And no, wait, it goes up from 90. So actually, it's the same cost effectiveness. Uh, yeah, and it has a higher chance to hit, but it has a greater impact on speed. It has twice the impact on speed, so it's heavier. Um, yeah, so I'm already, the second level of torpedoes is more powerful per slot, but so worse performance in terms of making the ship easier to hit.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, your typical torpedo cruisers, I think, would be great because your typical torpedo is gonna be, yeah, torpedoes gonna be more effective than heavy guns at killing capital ships, and they have a much less effect on the speed of the cruiser. And you can make capital ships that their main arm is torpedoes with the torpedo cruiser, and they'll just like, they'll devastate enemy capital ships, but the enemy capital ships won't be able to hit them back.
Hmm.
Yeah, the balance is a little unintuitive though. You don't want to armor torpedo cruisers can be capital ships. They can be heavy cruisers or light. The light cruisers should be armored because they'll mainly get targeted by light guns, which tend to not have much piercing, especially the ones on destroyers. So the light armor the light cruiser can be given is more than enough. But heavy cruisers, you shouldn't armor them at all because that armor is going to do nothing against the guns of like a battleship. And it just makes them easier to hit because they're slower. The only benefit is they have a little more
Yep.
HP. Well, I mean, they do, but they're also more expensive to produce. So, I don't know. I was thinking about this. Yeah, like the best cruiser armor is 25% extra cost, 15% extra HP, and 12.5% less speed. So it's definitely not cost effective against Battleship because the armor rating is so low it doesn't matter. It uses chromium and a lot more steel. Um, yeah, big guns you're better off evading, but little puny destroyer guns, armor helps. Which is there's some commentary there about the real world where most ships only have these puny little guns. Like no one builds ships with big guns anymore, right?
Yeah.
At least the United States doesn't, and we like are like the most powerful navy in the world by far, and the British don't. Like most of the big former empires, they only worry about like bullying pirates and stuff because the Cold War is over, and so no one builds.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's gonna cause a problem. I just got an event that lost me a bunch of support in the House of Representatives. Uh, bloody I. Uh, I only need 20 more members of the House, though. Even so, okay. So yeah, against the puny little guns that most ships have now, because everyone is builds destroyers. Like even so-called cruisers are really just like the same size. Oh, that's the other thing. Most destroyers are really light cruisers by World War II standards of size.
Yep.
Um, like I look if you look it up, like the Arleigh Burke, these is like about the same size as the Atlantic class cruiser that was used in World War II. It's like it was one of the smaller light cruisers, but um, like the Arleigh Burke is like the workhorse of the modern U.S. Navy. It was designed in the Navies, and we still use it for most things.
Hmm.
It's kind of outdated, but since the Cold War is over, we just I don't know, we just keep spamming this old design instead of updating it. The U.S. Navy
Yeah.
has tried to make some new designs, but it tried this. It's been leaning more towards corvettes, which are of course even smaller and more lightly armed still compared to destroyers because there are no more like the thought is there are no more peer-to-peer conflicts. And then of course now China took one of our failed corvette designs. You've heard of the littoral combat ship?
No, not really.
It was an idea to use trimaran design to build a. Oh, you probably just isn't the Planet of Agua Prieta a 35-day focus?
Yep.
Oh, so you're doing like
FA Maximo.
cool. Yeah, the right side will let you get help the Spanish quicker, but yeah, if you go down the center, you can get state education, and that'll give you a research slot. Uh, you
Yeah.
do need to go abolish capital punishment, repeal Cal's law, though, or otherwise the church will get knocked down to atheist state, and I think you'll get a second Cristero rebellion at that point. So,
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah, unless you want to spark a civil war. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the littoral combat ship was like a trimaran. But with the increasing levels of corruption in like U.S. naval procurement and like the MIOs who have been, it's the same ones that were used in World War II. Newport News, Norfolk Naval Yard, Brooklyn Shipyards doesn't even exist anymore, so they don't even have that competition. an
Yeah.
electric boat company. It's three of the four that are in this game, and one of the four doesn't. The one that specializes in capital ships, like it went out of business or something.
Mm.
So there's even less competition than World War II, and these same three companies have been making all our ships for like generations and generations. So they're just so fat and lazy and complacent, and they own all the politicians. And as a result, the quality has really gone downhill. So the Littoral Combat ship, even though it's a theoretically good design, had like problems with like the hull cracking. It was made out of pure aluminum, which is uh aluminum is much more sensitive to like the quality of manufacturing than steel.
Yeah.
And they didn't design it right, and so like the hull cracks and the engine was failing, which has nothing to do with the aluminum body. Although some people who don't like that, oh, it must be the aluminum. No, the aluminum makes the whole ship lighter. It means you need a lighter engine. Like you don't need as powerful one. If anything, that should make it easier to make a reliable engine. But it had an unreliable engine, like whole issues. It
Oh, did you want me to deploy my lines instantly as soon as
uh
I can?
no, just when they hit the equipment cap, just so that they keep training after that is what I was suggesting.
What do you mean?
Like so if right now I got a division, good thing you pause it because either they just hit this cap or maybe it didn't tell me they capped at it because they've been steadily getting equipment. They're at 29% training and they have 29% equipment. They
Oh,
can't train any.
most of mine are 100% equipped right now.
Yeah. So, oh, then I would just add a bunch more to the queue. Try and,
Well, it won't do it unevenly.
yeah, but until it stops equipping more of them because, you want to get the people out you're going to get out like quickly. And if you want more rifles to send to Spain, you can always disband some divisions that you were like training. But by getting a bunch out and doing exercises, you can get more army XP and send more volunteers if you want. So, um, yeah, I should. Why can't I pre? Oh, I have to set location to pre-deploy these guys. But yeah, I already had one that reached this training cap. You don't have anyone guarding this airfield up in Maine. Oh no, Western Defense, Eastern Defense Command. Da, da, da. Where would they? Hmm, cool. Battle plans on the Canadians. And it pre-deployed a division. It's green, but it was already. I didn't have equipment for more. I'm like raising all these National Guard divisions. Ausa Smiths. Okay. Um, these guys should switch templates to exercise one. Um, they're seeing it 23% equipment, it thinks, because it weighs support equipment differently than when they're in the train queue. Lovely. Uh, yeah. So I'm training almost my entire manpower pool up. Only be left with. I must have just finished a destroyer or something. Uh, First one's yeah in 2 days. Not yet. Oh shoot, I did finish, didn't it? No, that's June. I'm fine. Yeah, I've only got 54,000 manpower free as the United States. It's because part of this is because of Navy development, but I need the Selective Service Act before too long. 48 National Guard divisions. That's like
I
all I
can
can hope.
afford a Spirit of the Naval Academy.
Oh shoot, and I can afford Spirit of the Navy. Ugh, bloody hey! I knew I would forget this, or I should have known I would forget this. Uh, Naval reform. Shoot. Oh well. Um. Oh, you were saying you could afford Spirit of the Naval Academy?
Yep.
How'd you get so much Navy XP so quick? Just from your
I get
exercise?
point 0.3 a day from exercises, but
0.3. Wow, that's like a third of what I'm getting, and your Navy is a tiny fraction of the size. Weird. Maybe if I do
I don't
remember,
know.
coastal defense ships are really overweight for exercises. If I remember, like they give a lot of
Only
naval.
got one. I've got one of those and then 5 destroyers.
Yeah,
Maybe I started with some.
probably not. Anyways, when you get to 35, you should
I don't know.
probably do naval reform because that'll increase your experience gained from exercises further.
When I get to 35.
Yeah, it's the middle naval spirit of the Navy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, save up for that then. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Um, since
I can do
early
that.
on, it's gonna be a while to have a big Navy until you do Central America. You're probably like, and you're gonna be starving for XP. I'm assuming you'll probably end up putting a lot of Navy XP into forming a Marine Corps because they can be like jungle warfare expert, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Look at this. It's the second like focus thing, jungle specialists, and it gives combat bonuses in jungle, which is a lot of what you're going to be fighting through in Latin America. So,
Hmm.
um, although you could do short parties, and that would help with doing like naval invasions. But yeah, a Marine Corps will be useful for you for pushing south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at
German
that.
Civil War. The German Civil War has begun.
What's going on?
What's going on is they are flipping away from fascist
To monarchist?
to non-aligned initially, but that's how they also get to
Ah.
communist and democratic.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
All right, just stuck Eisenhower in charge of my army for that sweet, sweet army XP, and hmm, medium lobbying effort again. I should, if I don't get another bad event, be able to do the agricultural adjustment act, but
I have Collez now. I put
but
him in charge of my uh army group.
Yeah, he's probably got better logistics skill than your current guy, right?
It's the same, but his attack is a lot better.
Oh, I mean, he might make a good like general just
The
because he's a
harsh leader.
yeah, he's a brilliant strategist, hearts leader. You might want to actually put him in charge of an army when you send volunteers overseas. So you probably don't
Oh yeah.
want to assign him domestically because he'll actually be more useful leading troops directly because he's really good, if I
Okay.
remember
I'll
correctly.
just hold on to him.
Yeah. Um, yeah, your best logisticians are good for when you're just training people like this, but you want your best leaders to just wait in reserve till you get volunteers overseas, probably. Or you have your civil war, which should trigger later, not before that. But yeah, if
Okay.
probably control the army because it gives you stability, and then you can like rush,
My
repeal the
current army, because
callous.
he's the same. He has the same logistics as my current general.
Yeah, but he's got better like attack and stuff. So I'm saying I keep him for what the
Yeah.
Spanish Civil War. But yeah, I would probably take the control of the army focus and go for like repealing the Cowles Law for the stability, so you get more political power gain from like higher stability.
Okay.
Because
Then I
uh,
can get anti-disestablishmentarianism.
um, yeah, you should get an event that strengthens the Catholic Church before then, anyhow. But I would at least control the army, even if you could at that point either repeal the Cowles Law or go Legacy of Revolution. It depends what you like. I don't know if that event still fires if you repealed the Cowles Law. I think it does though, but I'm not sure.
Which event?
There's two events you get that can strengthen. One I think is a bishop died. I think you get that either way, and then there's another one. I think like the Pope chimes in on the like status of the Catholic Church if it's like not at least if it's not powerful or a Catholic state,
Mm,
and that can be used to strengthen the church too if you side with like him.
okay.
But yeah, control the army will give you stability, and you have a little time to Spanish Civil War, so you might do that, and then start doing like trying to get support Spain's loyalists because by the time you get there, the Spanish Civil War will be in full swing, and it's a great opportunity to train your generals and stuff. Or you could just do Legacy Revolution now if you feel like it. It's up to you. If you want the stability first, or
Mm,
oh shoot, if you do red shirts and you haven't gotten the event yet.
yeah.
Oh,
That'll
here's what you can do though. Revolution, you can do Legacy Revolution, Revolutionary Women, because that'll really boost your civilian economy. That'll give you two more civ, or sorry, three more civ. Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah, that's probably better. Legacy Revolution, Revolutionary Women. Yeah, because that'll give you a bunch of civilian factories, which will like
Okay.
this early on, like how many civ total do you have, including the ones at consumer goods?
8
Eight,
or 9 now actually.
nine.
I
So yeah,
just built one.
so this one focus will increase the size of your civilian economy by a third, and your construction speed by even more, since some are like on consumer goods for military factories. So yeah, I would get Revolutionary
Actually,
Women.
I don't know where this one came from.
Didn't you
'Cause
build a civ?
I'm still
Oh,
building the one in Durango actually.
from trade.
Oh, export. Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone trade. Okay.
someone's buying um, resources from you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would do Legacy Revolution, Revolutionary Women.
Okay.
Women's rights for the win. Um, because although women's suffrage in this game, uh, it does strengthen the church. Interestingly, but it gives you democracy support, which will be that could be useful to slow the rate of communist gain, so that you like don't get your civil war buys time, but it also will give you like you'll have to deal with a larger democratic faction. So you
I
know,
could do raids.
yeah. It will give you a
I don't know.
source of democratic that you can just keep doing raids, and it'll strengthen the church too. So you could do that, but you probably want to like you can only really afford one focus before you probably want to go for the Spanish Civil War stuff because
Which focuses are that? Are those?
uh, Legacy of Revolution, the Red Shirts, Revolutionary Class War, Spanish Civil War refugees, support Spain's
Oh,
loyalists.
that whole line.
Yeah. So you have to do one, two, three, four, five focuses before you can send arms. And you have to do one, two, three, but it's a diversion from saying the arms. Or no, actually, you need it for that one. So you need six focuses because you need international struggle as well. So you need legacy, red, international, revolutionary, refugees, Spain's loyalists. So to get those arms decisions, six focuses. You only need three to send volunteers, though. So yeah, I would start
Okay.
racing for those because that's a really
There's
good
two that'll
decision.
that'll weaken the church though, so I might have to repeal the Cow's law.
Huh? Oh,
Red
to the
shirts and support Spain's loyalists both weaken the church.
oh, well, you'll get an event that strengthens them before Spain's loyalists for sure. You might have to do women's suffrage then, like squeeze that in or repeal the Cowles law. Actually, repeal the
Yeah.
Cowles law would do more to well, you haven't done control of the army, so yeah, you might want to do women's suffrage then. You'll get democratic support, but you can do raids, and that's a source of stability as well. Yeah. Um, yeah, so you might actually want to do that. Revolutionary women, women's suffrage, and then like race down the Spanish Civil War stuff.
Okay.
Which, from a role play perspective, that's great. You're giving women rights. That's very good. Um, let's see. Is there anything I can spend 50 political power on that's not a complete waste? Uh, 50 is like a tiny amount. If I was going America first, there's a few 50 political power people, but that's the fascist path. Industrial concerns are 150. I don't have any specialist level chiefs or. Nope. Guess I'm just amending the budget and research grants then. Cool. Oh, shoot. That'll piss off some members of the House of Representatives. Oh well. Well, maybe Earl Bowder will have to wait a little bit. Because I need WPA now. All right. Well, the other alternative would have been special measures anyhow. Um. Oh, it's 90 days till I lose the supports. That gives me just enough time to start Agricultural Adjustment Act. Uh, this focus will continue when the requirements no longer met. Cool. All right. So I have a very narrow window to take Agricultural Adjustment Act. I could get screwed by RNG. Let's hope not. If I get another event that lowers my support in the House, I could be in trouble. I'll save it here. This makes me nervous. Okay, I'm pausing.
Okay. Hmm.
Germany embroiled in civil war. Sudden Wehrmacht coup led by the famed Field Marshal August von Mackensen. He has an epic hat. Has triggered civil war in Germany early this morning. Fascists, royalists, and Democrats alike have taken up arms against their former. Turkey remilitarizes. Countrymen and military units have been removed from the borders to see internal threats. The fascist followers of Hitler have already vowed to destroy the nation rather than see it fall to treasonous Germans. It's worth noting if Berlin falls before they surrender, uh, Hitler is dead, but Himmler takes over as leader.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
and they changed the German Civil War. They can now get an uprising in Silesia
Oh.
or in Holstein during their Civil War.
Hmm.
Yeah, Silesian uprising. It's a thing.
Russia has claims.
Has claims. What?
Russia,
On what?
Germany.
What do you mean
I didn't
Russia?
realize Russia with a P.
Oh,
I didn't realize they were
Prussia.
still.
They said Russia. Prussia,
Yeah.
yeah,
I.
Prussia, the Kingdom of
I
Prussia is a tag that can be. You can balkanize Germany now as any nation. You don't have to be France. It used to be those tags were invisible unless you
ah.
were
Okay.
like took Napoleonic France route.
Hmm.
Um,
Can you like play as Prussia?
you could if you release them, if you conquered Germany as a different nation and then released
Yeah.
Prussia and chose to play as. Whenever you
Ah. Okay.
release a releasable tag, you can play as them if you want.
I see.
Yeah, so you could play as the Kingdom of Prussia if you really
Hmm.
wanted. Like if you conquered Germany as Poland really early or something, or France.
Yeah.
Might make more sense as Poland if you did, or Czechoslovakia. So if you did as France, you'd have to contend with France as a rival, and they wouldn't
Yeah.
like you. Whereas Poland is weaker. I don't know. Anyways,
Hmm.
on pause. Yeah. Yeah, and one of the gnarly things you can do is if you, and I did this in my single player game, which is kind of cheeky, is if you get someone else involved in the Civil War, on it, then this on your side, I think it is. Or actually, no, it's on either because if there's more than one nation you're fighting against, you might be able to puppet the other nation. If there's more on your side, they might be able to puppet because they got war score. So you can actually end up like releasing like Silesia and Prussia and Kashubia stuff as puppets, which I did in my single player got to Dameron game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I balkanized myself as Germany because
Hmm.
Spartacus League gets these focuses to turn puppets that are also communist into folks commissariats and then reintegrate them. It's very cheap to annex stuff, so it's very cheap for me to re-annex my puppets in terms of political power. And they even get a
Yeah.
decision to add a build slot to them first. So it's a great way to like get around the kind of harsh build slot limits that Germany can face if they build a lot of Civ for a while before going to mill. Um, Unfortunately, I got stuck in a war with the like Soviets. They didn't want that game, and I'm still doing it, and I'll play it. Although there's going to be bugs from the fact it's an earlier hot fix, like in problems, like they reworked the tank MAOs. And now I'm down 2 traits because they just disappeared for
Hmm.
Henschel, and they added like war support to some of the later like German communist focuses they'd already taken, so I don't get that war support. Like, so never as much base war support as I was meant to.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I'm curious. I set them to Spartacus League because I'm curious to see how the AI handles Spartacus League. Maybe I'll gain some
Okay.
inspiration and see if they're any good at it. And maybe I'll file bug reports if they're doing obviously stupid things. But yeah, they should go non-aligned, and then they get the choice between they can either try and flip communist without a civil war or with one. If the AI
Yeah.
is competent, they'll probably try and avoid the civil war. If they're really incompetent, they'll just get one because they're like not competent. I, as a player, consciously went for the civil war because I knew it would let me balkanize even more of Germany. Because at this point,
Yeah.
like all my former puppets were on the other side of civil war, And then there were some tags that were controlled by the other side that weren't before, so I was able to release even more puppets and like break one of the previous puppets in two that had two states. So it was
Hmm.
cool. um, I had like I don't know like 10 puppets carved out of Germany and still control some of like Berlin or maybe not 10, 7 or something, but it's still. Let's see, I had two Silesias, Saxony, Thuringen, um, the two Bavarias, Hesse, Hanover, and Schleswig, and Prussia and East Prussia. I think that's like 10. Yeah, no, so I had a ton of puppets, like 10 or something. Uh, yeah, oh yeah, I did miss my opportunity to withdraw from the London Naval Treaty before world tension left at 20% before I'll get another opportunity. I
Oh,
didn't want to spend the political power because I wanted to hire Eisenhower, and because I'll just mass produce light cruisers. Uh, they're good for Oh, hold on, I just got an MIO or special project. I just got a breakthrough. Let's start on torpedo cruisers. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Hopefully, I get the desired. Hmm? Pretty sure I should be short on chromium now. Oh no, I'm had more. Oh well. Screwed that up. So yeah, I'll just mass produce like torpedo cruisers and stuff. Light cruisers can be given armor that makes destroyer guns like virtually very ineffective, and if the light cruisers have decent speed, they won't get hit by torpedoes very well. Nor will heavy cruisers, which can be similarly fast. So fast cruisers can dodge most torpedoes, can dodge most heavy shots, and can just they have enough armor to shrug off the guns of destroyers. So then all they have to really worry about is the guns of other light cruisers that are like have enough armor piercing or secondaries of heavy cruisers.
yeah.
Um, yeah, they're pretty tough, and if you have a fleet that's just heavily dependent on them, and then of course if you go the base strike doctrine, that you get a lot of organization for your. I forget it's all cruisers or just your. Let me check. All cruisers or just the heavy or just the light cruisers. Light cruisers. Yeah, you get a ton. So you get a lot of boost to light cruisers, and then you combine a bunch of light cruisers with carriers and air power, naval air power as well.
What do you recommend I save my political power up for?
Your political power.
Yeah.
Uh, bu- 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 uh, how much do you have right now? You just got a lump.
56.
You can probably do improve worker conditions, and you get to 100, right?
Um, yeah. But I can do raids.
Anti-fascist raids, or
Anti-fascist and anti-democratic.
but fascist is the bigger faction, so anti-fascist would give you a little more ruling party popularity because it'll push relatively more into non-aligned.
Yeah.
Uh, whereas the Democratic fascist will absorb a slightly higher percentage than Democratic will. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. Let me sign non-aggression pact with you here. Um,
You want to
you,
say for any like chiefs
I mean, chief of army is
or
very
advisors?
important. Um, I would either say for a chief of army or do improved worker conditions. Like improved worker conditions gets you a huge chunk of stability, so that's nice. But chief of the army will get you army experience so that you can actually like, you know, it's up to you.
Don't raids give you like pretty much the same amount of stability?
They get no, because you lose 10% when you take them, and then you gain a little more back than you
Oh,
um. You only
right.
gain like 2 point something
I see.
percent base stability, but then they also include your ruling party popularity, so it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
You gain 12.5%, I think it is, stability from improved worker conditions. So it's twice as
I see.
expensive, but you get more than twice. The cost of that is that it takes longer to pay for itself in terms of industry.
Yeah.
But it's on a like a 3 year cooldown, so the sooner you take it, the sooner you can take it again. Where you're only going to be able to do raids a finite number of times. And it's more efficient way to get stability than either prosecuting the clergy or attending public mass, which is what 50 political power for 3% stability. So improved worker conditions is by far the most efficient way to get stability. I would suggest saving up for that for your first thing and then doing raids after.
Okay.
Um, anyways, on pause. Um, yeah, soon I'll be able to start messing with the Marine Corps, form them, like starting down that Special Forces tree. Um,
I've got an advisor that'll give me plus 15% political power gain, but uh unaligned support.
yeah, that's like the callous guy. I wouldn't. I would just
Sure.
focus on the decisions that give you stability.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you'll eventually you won't want it. You'll want your captain of industry. Eventually, I would probably you could do that when you get to 75. I think. Oh no, you have to do a focus to unlock them, right? I think.
Agricultural credit bank.
Yeah, so I would do improve worker conditions. You can do agricultural credit bank for the advisor later. But yeah, you probably want eventually ambitious union boss, especially if you're doing women's suffrage, to counteract the democracy drift. Ambitious union boss and captain of industry, and then you'll definitely want your spy chief because communist playthroughs often, have a lot of use for spies, and you're going to be hungry for political power for a long time, and spy agencies can give you political power through infiltrating civilian administrations. If you put like a pair of seducers on it, well, let's see. The base chance is 25%. Seducer increases it by 25. Infiltrator also. So if you have two seducers, one of who's also an infiltrator, you have a 100% chance of getting 25 political power from a infiltration of civilian administration. Of course, you usually don't have, like, it's very rare to get someone who's both a seducer and infiltrator, although they do gain infiltrator from doing a bunch of infiltration missions. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, by seducing a bunch of like British and who wants to seduce the British and the French and stuff, infiltrating their civilian administrations, you can get I'll fight
Sorry.
the Marine Corps. You can get a bunch of political power. And since you have infinitely
Yeah.
repeatable decisions for stability and war support, that political power will be really useful.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would that's another reason I would like suggest improve worker conditions as soon as you can do it, because the stability will give you, it'll both reduce your consumer goods factory factor once you get above 50%, and it'll reduce your political power malice as you approach 50%, and over it'll give you a bonus. Um, and also, you need to improve your stability so that you can eventually crush the Catholic Church and not suffer a rebellion for doing it. You need, if you look at it, the Second Cristero Rebellion, I think it's over 60%, or is it over 70% stability?
Um, 60.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's 60.
it's 60% total, not necessarily base. So if you're in a war, you lose 20% automatically being in a war. And
Oh,
if your war support is less than 100%, you lose additional from war support less than 100%. So you need really high
okay.
stability if you're going to have atheist state while in a war. Um, so but if you have like 90% base stability and 15% ruling party popularity, you can do it if your war support is high enough. Otherwise, you can't go lower than weak church, which means you won't get the extra factory output. So yeah, um, yeah. To avoid civil wars, Mexico needs to focus on stability a lot.
Okay.
Uh, the Cristero rebellion is a lot like more debilitating. I've seen AI get it; it's really bad. That
Yeah.
or the Second Mexican Revolution, which is I think slightly less bad, but they're both. They're
At
I
some
think
point, do you want to assassinate Cristero traders? Like later?
assassinating or pardoning, they're functionally equivalent. I don't even think they weaken or
Yeah.
strengthen the church. They just give you war support and army experience.
Hmm.
But you probably want to run a strong church early on because of the stability and consumer goods factor, and then weaken it later. Plus, a lot of the communist focuses, as I was saying, they weaken the church.
Yeah.
So you want to strengthen it consciously and then let the focuses weaken it.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, okay, both Italy and Japan have abandoned the London Naval Treaty now. It's just me and the UK and France now. Uh, the British probably won't care if I withdraw from it, but it'll be cheaper to when I've switched ideology, and I'll just spam screen ships. The London Naval Treaty is not very debilitating for America, really, because I'm allowed to have just as many capital ships as the British. I just can't have more than them.
Yeah.
So I guess I have to stay slightly below them, but I can have as many screen ships as I want.
Hmm.
So it does place limits on their size, but if I'm doing torpedo cruisers, that's not very. It can be problematic with advanced, like late game light cruisers, like of the normal variety. But for torpedo cruisers, it's not really an issue. And by that point, I'll have switched ideology. By the time I get to like 1944 light cruisers with like level 3 medium guns, at that point, I'll probably have withdrawn from the naval treaty, and it only cost me 25 political power to do it if I do it once I'm communist. Yeah, cool. All right. Focusing on expanding Norfolk Naval Yard. The second trait they get is really good. From on YouTube, if you're wondering, and Joe, if you look at this later, or so Norfolk's MI is one of America's MIOs, and it's the U.S. escort fleet builder. And so it's got the special line. It's like not standard for. It's one of the country unique ones, which country unique ones are usually very good. Shipyard expansion and Naval Station Norfolk, which are excellent traits, but then all the rest suck. So I was gonna get it up to size 2, and then I was gonna switch to focusing Newport News because they make much better cruisers in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have Yeah, I was doing the math, and like light cruisers are slightly better than destroyers a lot of times. I'm killing screens, but they are also not as affected by weather. And they're longer range. Like there's a lot of little advantages. They have relatively less manpower for the amount of combat power they pack, so you lose fewer men than with destroyers. They're actually, I think, the most manpower efficient ships you can build, because cruisers are, because battleships have a ton of manpower, carriers have a lot of manpower, destroyers have a bit more. Like you can usually build about 4 destroyers per light cruiser, and if you're building like what's the kind of sweet spots for cost effectiveness, maybe 3, depends how good the light cruisers are. And I think this, yeah, light cruisers use less manpower for 3 or 4 of them. Then it's 800 manpower versus, well, 325 for a modern destroyer. So they use a little more than like 2.5 times the manpower,
Hmm.
but cost basis, it's better.
You think maybe I should try to get off of civilian economy before?
You don't have the war support for it. That's part of why you need to work on
Yeah, but
your
well,
stability, because stability will get you political power. Political power will let you assassinate the Cristero traitors later a bunch
right.
of times or pardon them, and
I
that'll
only have
help
to do it twice to get enough war support, though.
to get on early mobilization. Yeah, but that's not a good use of political
Not
power. You
worth
can
it.
get you can get to partial mobilization as world tension ramps up when you reach
Ah,
25,
right.
or when you
Fair
reach
enough.
50, you can go to all the way to war economy. Though you can't do that to your communist or you're at war.
Okay.
So, um,
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
all right.
20 days and the Dio rebellion's gonna get a little bit worse.
um, yeah,
Gonna go to high tensions.
that's problematic. Yeah, as long as I can keep the British Navy the heck off my back, and I can even keep them off your back, hopefully. So I'm trying to work on my
Would it be
navy.
sorry? It would reconciliation committees be worth doing since I'm not at
Uh,
war?
Probably yes, but you
'Cause it's pretty cheap. It's only 25 political power for 5 stability. It just
uh
costs 5 war support.
yeah,
Do you
it's
think I
it's
should run that once?
yeah, I it may be worth it to do at some point. Although I
I
would
can
try to
only
get,
do it once because I can't do it below 10 war support.
but your war support will go up as world tension increases, I think.
Yeah.
Or is it base? So you may have to,
Just says 10 total. Doesn't say base.
yeah. Um, but
Which I'm at 89 right now.
I would just, you're very close to improved worker conditions. I would just grab that. One of the other things about doing it really early is it increases consumer goods factor, but that becomes more expensive the more factories you have. You don't have many now, and a lot of times it rounds down and has absolutely no effect on your construction. Like sometimes it'll go from 5.2 to 5.4 consumer good factories, and that just rounds down to 5 either way. You get what I'm saying? So the rounding
Yeah.
works in your favor. To improve working conditions when your economy is really small, works in your favor
Ah,
big time.
right. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Um,
I'm good on pause.
Hold on, just something with Newport
Unless you're busy.
News. Yeah, yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna grab this magnetic mines because I can degauss my ship holes later. That's important. Okay, I'm pausing. Degaussing makes it easier to detect subs and also gives naval mine avoidance. It's one of the new techs they added, I think, in God or Dameron. It wasn't around before. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Why am I getting political power a day now? That wasn't. Oh, because I'm done with the medium. Oh, and I do have enough house support to go Agricultural Adjustment Act. Nice. And I got a positive event, which just gives me even more margin, although I didn't need it. Uh, cool. As long as something doesn't happen to make the Senate pissed at me. And it would have to happen. Actually, it could happen. I could just not confirm the event for 2 weeks. Cool. All right, so I'll get Agricultural Adjustment Act, and then the Great Depression will start to decrease. One of the things about going communist is the USA. Uh, I'll just well, I'll leave, it doesn't matter. One of the things about going communist, or actually, I should confirm this because I think the lower your support is the more likely you are to get events to increase it. Is that you can take accumulated wealth tax act, and that acts as an economic recovery focus for the Great Depression. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. Um, I can go right for suspending the persecution after agricultural adjustment here and grab Earl Bowder because I should have the political power because I didn't get screwed with Congress events like I did last time I did the USA. Oh yeah, you should. If you check out the videos, I got a series of like 5 negative events in a row where like Congress and the Senate hated me in the first like
Mm.
few months of the game. It was ridiculous. It was like
Yeah.
negative event, negative event, negative event. Here I got like a mix of. I think I got like 4 events or three, and like yeah, I think it was four and two good, two bad. Um, I think
Yeah.
I may have lost slightly more support fan events than I gained. So it was still a net negative, but it was not a big net negative. And I gained support in the Senate. It's only the House, which that resets in the midterms in 38. Um, okay, I do agriculture adjustment at now, or I won't be able to do it in 20 days or 21. I think it actually doesn't trigger till. So we have a 3 week window and shoot. Well, no. I'll just lose support, but I'll still be able to grab Earl Bowder. Blah, 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 blah. Wait, I have a fourth line of civilian industry now? What the heck is going on? How did I get a fourth? Did my. Oh, trade. People started buying from me. Whoops. I may have messed up. I should probably have added a fourth line of infrastructure. Well, whatever. Mistakes get made. So yeah, you can have Florida, I think I said.
Yeah.
Really, you can have it. Coasts, yeah, the coasts are really good areas to develop as the United States. Surprise, surprise. Investing in the game often rewards you for investing in already well developed areas for whatever reason. Um, it's just I don't know. Looks like I should invest in Oregon though at this point. Um, So I just got a bunch of political power dumped in my lap. To consider where I want to go straight for Earl Bowder or how much does this improve the Great Depression? I think it reduces it by a third. Yeah, I just want to save up for him and less. Yeah, just want to save my political power. Okay. I had to figure out if I was going to do something because the United States, it's a little bit tricky, their political power management, because they have to do like all these lobbying things, and sometimes it's worth being at zero political power and running what would normally be negative. So cool. All right, I'm good on pause. Are you cool, or you probably just finished a focus too, because we're still in sync.
Yep.
Let's see. I finished two 70-day focuses, so you should be like four focuses in or something, or three. You were doing Legacy of Revolution, so you probably just finished that, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
Just started Revolutionary Women.
yep. And then, yeah, if you need to strengthen the Catholic Church, there's women's suffrage. Yeah, support Spain's loyalists weakens them, so you'll need that probably either way. You may be able to get red shirts if you get the event. You'll see there'll be a pop-up event to strengthen the church. Um,
Oh,
well, I'm at 90 minutes on the YouTube recording, so focus on YouTube. I'm gonna cut this video here, start a new one. Hope you enjoyed. Take care of each other, be kind to yourselves, and may you always find a guiding star to lead you home. Adieu.